In recent years, I've found myself receiving more and more solace from short, focused games. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy a big, sprawling adventure every now and then, but there's something so snappy, so satisfying about a game that you can get through in an afternoon. A game that you can come back to again and again. It's the closest thing I've found to recapturing the era of arcade gaming, save going to one of those in person. Though on my budget, that's a rarity nowadays.
No! My moth collection!
But today, I present a game that I feel has that arcade ideology down pat. Oh, hell yeah, baby. Disaster Arms Impact Project Bond is a real gem from the same developer as Somnibuster, which I reviewed last year. But while it shares some DNA with that project, it's largely its own thing. Whereas Somnibuster was more a love letter to free-flowing, speed-based platformers, this game is a love letter to the platform shooter. Think Contra or Alien Soldier. But Disaster Arms is more than a tribute. It creates a fresh blend of the old and the new, the simple and the complex, to forge a game so addicting that I couldn't put it down until I finally beat it. The moveset of Disaster Arms is incredibly easy to get a feel for. Jevril's movement here feels a bit stiffer than the springy, speedy movement found in Somnibuster, but it's clear that's by design. The levels are a bit simpler to reflect that, and besides, the levels are not really the focus. With one or two exceptions, platforming is mainly used as a reprieve in this game between all of the combat. With 30 unique boss fights to go through, it's clear where Disaster Arms' focus lies. The name of the game here is fast-paced action shooting. Well, actually, the name of the game is Disaster Arms, but I digress. Controlling Jevril only requires 3 buttons: a jump, a shoot, and the right trigger, which changes its function depending on context. With a tap, you can switch your weapons. While crouching, it can magnetize nearby collectibles, and when you've gathered enough of said collectibles, you can hold it to unleash a special attack. Now that might sound a little busy, but trust me when I say it all comes together quite well in the heat of combat. You're expected to always be on guard, finding the right move for any situation, and reacting quickly to enemy attacks. Every boss has a different strategy, so you'll want to test out each of the 4 weapons and see what clicks best against its behavior. Enemy bullets will fly through levels and can sometimes be overwhelming, but there are many ways to avoid them. You can stop shooting and go into defensive for a moment. This increases your movement speed, which is extraordinarily beneficial for being evasive. However, by double tapping the shoot button instead of holding it, you can do a rocket punch. This rocket punch destroys all green enemy projectiles in its path, and in turn, it turns them into the chips used to charge your special. Pink projectiles will stick around though, you're on your own with those. This creates a wonderful, visceral, hyper-violent feedback loop of Jevril's dodging and countering, being channeled into a fierce onslaught. And let me tell you, that is incredibly satisfying every time. Elevated even further by the punchy sound design, there's a real understanding of game design here that makes the combat hit hard, even on repeat playthroughs, which is important because the game is designed around repeat playthroughs. But not in a roguelike sense. We're not at the Pick 3 factory today. Disaster Arms is a very short game. You could probably beat it in an hour if you're familiar with what it brings to the table. However, for some, Disaster Arms will be a very difficult game. As said before, every boss has its own unique personality and moveset to its name. And if you don't bring your A game, they'll push your reflexes to their limit. And if they're not up to snuff, well, that's that. This game operates on a limited continue system. If you die too many times, you'll start from the beginning of the game. While some may shake their head at this, hear me out, it's perfect here. This arcade-like philosophy brings the strengths of the game's design to the forefront. The game is made to be replayed, so if you fail, retry the level. And if you run out of continues, start from the beginning and use what you've learned to get through things even faster. If you're not playing with your brain turned off, you'll pick up on enemy patterns. You'll learn strategies to get through things quicker. Learning from mistakes is a key part of the loop here, and it feels incredible to finally break past a challenge you thought was insurmountable. To me, this is Disaster Arms' greatest strength. A modern application of arcade design to create a game that I've found to be unbelievably well made. Now there is a casual mode, which gives you unlimited continues. I think this is a perfectly fine option to have. It lets less experienced players practice levels they might have trouble with. However, I personally feel that it's far more satisfying to break through a level under the limitations of arcade mode. I didn't touch the hardest difficulty though, That has like more complex patterns and stuff, and I don't think I'm built for that. But what could have been the equivalent of smashing your face into a brick wall becomes a true test of learning and applying what you've learned. And man, I fucked with it heavy. Every time I played, I got a little further in the game, and eventually, I broke through and earned my ending. And sincerely, I'm not being paid to say this, it was one of the most satisfying things I accomplished in a game this year. This game is a chaotic symphony of dodging bullets and creating robot bloodshed, where you need to hit the perfect balance of caution and action. And it's all got a great presentation too. Disaster Arms has a similar art style to Som the Buster by proxy of it, being the same guy. But even in the single year between releases, the differences are apparent. While the hand-drawn style remains, the colors are more muted, reflecting the moodier tone of this dystopia-like future. But despite that, there's less confusion in where to go and what to do. As much as I adore Som the Buster, I did say there were one or two instances where I wasn't sure what was a platform and what wasn't. And well, Disaster Arms did away with that issue. I never had it here. And that's especially impressive considering this game can get really busy. With all the collectibles and enemy bullets flying around, it could have been an easy misstep to make, and I would have forgiven it. But it's even more impressive that it didn't make such a misstep. Much like Som the Buster, the Sega Genesis style soundtrack is also very well done. A much moodier tone this time, but it's still done justice with those twangy instruments, and some boss themes got stuck in my head. But I'm not a music major, so I don't really have much to say there besides it good. But what I can say a bit more about is the story. Between each world and before certain bosses, you get a cutscene that tells a chunk of the story of this world. How we got here, what the deal is with Jevverell, or the other characters that his life revolved around. How this world has been brought to the brink of apocalypse, and why it's your job to take your revenge and stop it from getting there. And it's all incredibly well done. The cutscenes aren't placed linearly on a timeline. Some take place in the present, and some take place in the past. So in some cases, I had to put the pieces together myself, but that just gripped me more into this world. Sure, it's not my favorite story ever told or anything like that, but it's a very strong revenge plot, with a biting social commentary, the occasional comedic beat, and a strong emotional core. Once the story started wrapping up, it especially hit hard for me. Almost got choked up at the end. It's just a great little bow on a well-rounded package. Disaster Arms is yet another win from developer PDCGT. It has an incredible flow, an addictive gameplay loop, and ties it all together with the unique sketch comic presentation that I've come to love. Truthfully, I might like this one a little bit more than Som the Buster, but it's kind of pointless to compare them when they're going for such different things. Nevertheless, I truly believe this game is worth checking out if it piques your interest. It's only on PC through Steam and itch.io, but it's not graphically taxing, and it only costs $10. $10! That's more than the fair enough price in my book, especially in this market. If you're itching for a fast-paced, violent platform shooter with heart, or you're a newbie wanting to give this game a shot, I'd definitely say to give it a go. And if you're still unsure, there's a demo too, so try it out. You truly can't go wrong with giving this game a shot. Who knows? You may even be pleasantly surprised by what you play.